Dreamers. In this video I'm going to talk about Assassination Classroom. So I ended up picking up Assassination Classroom fairly recently. One, because I wanted to give it a read due to one of the reading challenges. I think it was Book Riot's Read Harder, where they had read a banned graphic novel. And Assassination Classroom has been one of the big ones that's been attacked recently to be pulled out of schools. And I've known about it for a very long time. I started to watch the anime. I gave up on it, not like in a bad way, but it was just like I fell asleep watching it. I started it late at night and then I just never went back to it because I'm not huge on like the sci-fi action stuff. I will get into sometimes, but obviously, probably seeing from a lot of my reviews, I'm much more into shoujo and shoujo fantasy than into shonen titles in general. So that was a good time though to give this one a try because it fit the challenge. And originally I was going to try to borrow from the library, but there was none available. And then I looked online and the complete box set was at a really good price at Amazon, especially compared to all the other retailers. It was almost like half the cost of every other retailer. So I decided to go ahead and bite the bullet and get it. And then I spent a week reading it. So it is 21 volumes to complete the full series, so about 3 a day for a week. And it was pretty good. I will say I struggled with like the beginning. I think that the story really picks up from volume 12 on. About the time they get to like the Grim Reaper arc, it picks up. But essentially the tale is that of a a class of the worst students, I guess you would say, at the school. They're all sent to Class E. And Class E's teacher for this year is a very strange creature who claims that they put the giant hole in the moon because the moon is like at, I think it's 75% size, or it knocked out 75%. Correct me with whatever it is. It now looks like a crescent shape. So this being, who is their teacher, claims to have done that, and that they need to be assassinated by the end of the year or the world will be destroyed. And what then happens is we follow along, one, these students' stories of being trained to be an assassin to kill the teacher so that they can save the world, but also journeying to find out much more than that. So like we get to know the students, or a great deal of the students, and their motives, and also maybe why they're in the class. And I don't know, it is strange because this obviously isn't anything that happened before this, but it's just at this time that they've been training, I believe, to be assassins, because I thought before that was a normal class, because who else would they be killing? But I'm not entirely sure about that, because the principle's really weird. But anyway, as of where this picks up, they are also, on top of like regular school stuff, they are being trained to be assassins, to take down the teacher, and then it's like their attempts to take down the teacher. And then like bits of, is the teacher really that bad? And this is why I say like the first 11 volumes, you're mostly just kind of, it's kind of hijinky. Like here's all these ridiculous attempts to kill the teacher. So their teacher, who they call Koro-sensei, is their target. And the hijinks kind of flow in the sense that you keep getting like character on top of character, and they come up with these zany ideas for killing them. And while we have like the main student body, there's also others that come involved. Like there's like a special agent who helps to train the students, but was also trying to kill the teacher. But at the same time, the teachers are kind of, the students are kind of protective of Koro-sensei, because even though Koro-sensei claims to be the villain of the piece, he does a lot of things to help teach and bolster the students. So at the same time, even though they know it's their mission to kill this teacher, they don't necessarily want to, and they don't really understand why the teacher is a villain, if that makes sense. So again, the first like 11 volumes are just like the hijinks of meeting each of these characters, and then like the essential plots of like trying to kill him in different ways, and then like why it doesn't work, because obviously they don't kill him right away. And there's another like assassin that comes into play too, and she ends up being a teacher. I didn't really like her. I'm sure a lot of other readers will like her because she's the creepy hot chick that like will try to make out with these young kids. This is a junior high, so even I think this is supposed to be most of their third years in junior high, but even at that level they're like 15. And it's just, why do we think that's funny? I don't think it's funny. But anyway, that's what she exists for, is to be the sexy femme fatale, who apparently is a great assassin, but not when it comes to Koro. And I mean, I guess I get that because Koro has like these unique abilities. He's a giant octopus-looking person. I don't know. He's got tentacles and a giant smiley head. So I don't know, for those first like 11 volumes, it was like a lot of just, oh, okay, this is okay. But then I think it definitely hit more of a stride with 12 on. I'm trying to remember if it was 14 or 16 that I really liked. Once it gets into the backstory of Koro and how Koro ties into the Grim Reaper, who again is introduced more in like volume 12. It might have been introduced in 11, but the main arc is in 12. I do remember that. And then it goes into like that whole backstory and then spins into Koro's actual background and what's really going on and why he really feels he needs to be assassinated. Then it reveals even more of the plot. Like the world opens up in a much better way. And then I don't know, I feel like until the end there it was pretty successful. There's a couple of volumes still within the final grouping that I don't know, I felt were like ridiculous filler, but the main story of it's very good from that point on, and how the students come to terms with the fact that they have to kill their teacher and like why. And then like also them trying to find ways that maybe they don't have to kill their teacher. It's good. And I won't give away everything if you haven't read this one yet. I mean, it's quite an old series, but I'm sure there's a lot of people like me who've not either watched or read it. And I would say if you don't have that immediate interest in the first couple of volumes, you might want to stick into it, because I do think the story improves by volume 12. It sounds like a long time into the series. It's not like those volumes are bad. I'm not saying that. It's just, it's the standard getting to know the characters. And that's fine. It's character development. But there was a lot of it I couldn't see at that point where the plot was going to, if you catch what I'm saying. I mean, other than like, oh, here's this weird dude, and apparently we got to kill him because if we don't kill him within a year, he's going to destroy the world. Other than that, I couldn't see where it was going. Like, okay, that's fine, I guess, but okay. And I think it does become clearer by the end. The end is much better to me than the beginning, but I do think it's still worth, like, it's not bad. I don't know. So was it worth it? Yeah, it was probably worth it. I'd probably now be able to get through the anime. It'd be interesting to compare it and see, like, how much did they keep? How much did they cut? Did they end it with the actual ending? I think that would be interesting for me now. Because before, like, I had no idea what I was getting into. I only knew, like, that, one, everybody was talking about it back when it was released. I remember the the weird-looking teacher. And I remember, like, that they had to, the goal was to assassinate the teacher. That's as much as I knew about Assassination Classroom, and you can pretty much get that from, like, the cover and the name of the title. So, for me, it was good to read this. Do I think that it should be banned from, like, junior high school libraries. No, it's not. It's not that bad. There's nothing in here, and actually the stories that get revealed by the end, like, it's very emotional, moving story that also like touches on how far science can go and kind of the dangers of it, and also to keep like checks and balances with things. So I'm gonna say that I liked this. I thought it was a lot of fun. I would recommend it for most readers, and it's definitely safe for junior high, like middle schoolers and up should be able to read this, and it's not a big deal. The only part, again, that I didn't like, just because personally I'm sick of the trope, and two, like, it's creepy to me, is the one assassin who like poses as their other teacher. I didn't really like her. Other than that, I think it's fine. There's a lot of people who will like the hijinks with that part. Look at this. It's huge, right? Other than that, I think Assassination Classroom is kind of worth it. It is kind of a classic now that people talk about. It's interesting sci-fi. Again, touches on like the dangers of how far we're willing to go with scientific experimentation. And yeah, I think if you haven't gotten to it yet, maybe give it a read. It might be more difficult if you are more into shoujo and like soft fantasy, but there's a lot of heart towards the end that I think is worth it. And yeah, that's it for this video. Until next time, bye.